Well, when you start making some, I'll let you know.
He don't like you.
Aw, he doesn't like them.
Oh, we started and I just got a bunch of potato chips with hot sauce.
That's okay. You can eat them all on the stream. I think because you're a very gorgeous female that we can make lots of money by you doing that. So you go ahead and do that. Enjoy that. People, we are here. The chat tag is here doing the Never Toasted Free show. We're over here hanging out with you guys. And yes, I did make the song, and Alan won't give me no fucking credit. Alan, what the hell's your problem?
I don't like you.
Well, I don't like you either. Julian. Oh, not Julian. Mauricio, yes.
Don't insult the man like that.
No, because if anyone enjoyed that bullshit from the other day when Julian Green's over there like, oh, guys, I'm so stupid. I don't know how to walk past the hallway.
How are you a millennial and don't know how to play video games? Like, what the fuck?
Oh, my God.
Hi.
He finally joined me on the millennial
That is
thing.
different, Roxy.
Millennials are bullshit, aren't they, Alan?
You know how to play. I'm 95% sure that if Roxy picked up the game right now and probably has never played a Resident Evil game in her life, she would not walk into a fire 6 times and die.
But she's played really, really hard games from back in the day. I said Willy. Holy shit.
Really hard game from back in the day.
So the harder I play with my dick, the better I'll be.
Exactly.
I don't know about that. But here's the thing, though. Like, Roxy, yeah, you played tons of hard games way back in the day. You had the fucking, all these old school consoles. They're way harder than shit nowadays, right?
Eh.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm bad
Depends
at
on the
old
game.
I think it depends, because some of them have, like, hidden levels and shit. So you had to work hard, obviously, on that. Like, Yoshi's Island was pretty hard for me during certain parts. But, yeah. It's a whole different world now.
Yeah, awesome. Next thing, Roxy gets it. She read Ready Player One. Yeah,
Oh my God.
I've actually.
Wait,
always
who
wanted
read
to read
it? Was it Roxy that read Ready Player One, or was it someone else?
I don't know if she read it. I think they're just fucking around. Have you ever read Ready Player One? Have you watched the movie, by the way, Ready Player One?
No, to both.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Good.
recommend watching the fucking thing because that movie is so goddamn bullshit.
Oh, I saw clips of it. I saw what I needed to see.
Adrian, hey Alan, hey, hi, want to wave, Alan?
No.
Are you sure? Because I mean, I know you like to wave at Jed and Roxy all the time. Jed, how you doing, by the way? Okay.
I
Thank
was
you.
eating chips, so I muted myself.
Oh, okay. I appreciate that, though. What kind of chips are you? Is it like the salt and vinegar chips?
No, just plain potato chips, but I put hot sauce on them. Is it Lay's with hot sauce?
I mean, that's not the weirdest thing.
Yeah, just regular plain Lay's, but I put a whole bunch of crystal hot sauce on it.
Dude,
Yeah.
That's relatively normal. What other weird shit are you doing?
No, here's the
That's
thing.
it. I mean, I got a Pepsi.
So I thought
Still
that she was going
normal.
to say some crazy
No way,
shit.
me too.
Ah!
I wish I had a Pepsi.
Have you guys seen?
Don't get one, Alan. You
I can't. I'm not allowed to leave my house.
Dude, have you seen these fucking Pringles right here? The pizza Pringles?
Ugh.
Yeah, that's something I can imagine Jet
man.
eating.
Pringles
Right.
fucking gross.
I actually like Pringles and Stacks. I think they're fucking delicious. Chad, I don't know if you guys have had both, but let me know what you think is better, Stacks or
The
Pringles.
fuck is Stacks?
Stacks is basically, well, yeah, I can just type it in really quick. Yeah, Stacks chips. These are, wow, look how
Chips,
they wrote that.
chips.
Don't look.
Chips?
Oh, they're just the Lay's version of Pringles.
No, but
Either way,
they're way harder though. They're like, yeah.
I don't like stacks.
I don't
well,
like either.
you know, you're
Okay.
fucking weird. Awesome. There was Stacks. Oh,
I think yeah, most people probably were just like, oh yeah, it's Lay's Pringles. That's probably what they call them.
Ryan say you might say The Walking Dead is on plus on shades life support. Yeah, no, it's not on life support. You fucking
What?
asshole. It's a pun.
That's
you know,
lame as fuck.
I think it was okay, but you know, it is what it is. We're gonna talk about Walking Dead a little bit tonight, but we're also gonna talk about Westworld season 3 as well as Hunters. I think Alan didn't even know we're gonna do Hunters. It's just
Oh yeah,
so
right. I
long.
forgot.
Yeah, sorry, Alan. Alan, to his defense, he put this show on there like a month ago, I think, or even longer than that.
I watched the show a while ago, so it's like I just forgot I watched it.
Yeah, so just because of that, you guys know that we're not just doing this shit because it's trending or whatever the fuck. I mean, Walking Dead, obviously, yes. But, no, Hunters, I was actually really sold on this fucking thing, and we'll get into it a little bit more. But, yeah, man, did you watch this right away when it came out or no?
Actually, I did, because, you know, you hear Jordan Peele, who's, I don't know what the fuck his involvement was, but it's like, oh, you know, from executive producer Jordan Peele. And then you have Al Pacino. I'm like, oh, okay, this seems like they got a good cast. So let me check it out. I'm like, oh, they're hunting Nazis in the 70s. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. I started watching the show, and within, like, the first, like, half an hour, I'm like, okay, this is fucking... It's basically all about, like, hey, these are a bunch of the main guys are survivors of the Holocaust, and there's and basically sometime in the 60s and 70s, like after the war, America just, you know, got up all the Nazi scientists to put them in NASA to, you know, to get them to build rockets and shit like that. The issue is a bunch of them are plotting to do something crazy. So these guys are going to work to kind of stop them as retribution for the Holocaust. I'm like, okay, that's a cool concept. The show doesn't know what Tony wants to do. It either wants to be some goofy 70s romp where it's just, you know, the Bee Gees Staying Alive fucking plays halfway through like the first or second episode, and it's all wacky, zany game show goofiness. But then it goes into super dark, serious stories about like this dude that was like one of the music. This guy was like super obsessed with music, so he got a bunch of the Jewish, prisoners, and if they were offbeat, he would shoot them. But then it goes into wacky stuff. I'm like, you don't know what tone you want to fucking go for, so you jump between some of the worst atrocities of humanity to this wacky shit that I'm like, I don't get why the fuck you're doing it. And the main guy, the main character who looks like discount Zac Efron, like he's just so bad at acting, or just bad, maybe not bad at acting is a bad word, but his lines of dialogue are so fucking bad because he's into comics. And just trust me, they make sure you know that, because every line of dialogue he says the first episode is something comic related. He's like, oh man, you're like Batman. Does that make me like you're Robin or something like that? Like, oh man, I was reading my comic books the other day and this is exactly the same thing. Like, you are terrible at trying to showcase a young kid that's into comics. Because like every third word out of his mouth is comics.
It reminds me of this movie, and I know this movie's about comics too. I mean, even the original, like Unbreakable.
A little bit, yeah, but Glass is a little bit more subtle, but it's about the same level of cringe.
Really? Okay, yeah, that fucking sounds Western as shit. And actually, I mean, I guess we could talk about it more so now since we're already so far deep into it. But yeah, man, like Al Pacino's character, do you feel like he did a pretty good job here? Because I remember I was really excited about him being in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and he's barely in there, and I'm like, oh, like, how are you gonna put him in a fucking
Pacino's in that movie?
Yeah, he's in that movie for a very, very smart. I forgot what character he plays. Let me see. I'm gonna look it up. Once Upon a Time.
He's one of the movie producers. Yeah, you're
Actually,
right.
Alan, did you watch that movie? I can't remember.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Yeah.
I wish I didn't, but I did watch it.
Yeah, the movie is not so great. I mean,
I watched it in theaters like a dumbass.
Ugh.
Oh wow! So you got to see nice and crisp looks at everyone's dirty ass.
Yeah, I noticed how there's almost no one in the theater, so I kicked my legs up and just like, okay, what's going on? Oh, I gotta watch Brad Pitt feed his dog for 5 fucking minutes. And then someone in the chat's like, oh man, someone yelled at me, oh man, that's such an integral part of the movie. No, it fucking isn't.
Yeah, no, I remember that.
Dog food, like what the? Oh my fucking god!
I think it was a very important to the character, but at the same time, it's like that's
how he feeds his dog.
Well, they're showing like how much he cares about the dog, and then they kind of, for some reason, that part I felt like was a little bit of an allude to like, okay, this dog's gonna be used at the very end of this movie for something drastic. Because
yeah, but I'm 95% sure. I know if the dog survives at the end of the movie, I'm pretty sure Brad Pitt fed it at some point. Like I'm not like how dumb as an audience everybody
Okay.
think we are.
No, I get you. You know, actually, yeah, you kind of just showed how my theory kind of fucks up there. But yeah.
Oh, we gotta establish very carefully to the audience that he feeds his dog, because at the end of the movie, he's feeding his dog again. But why did he just feed his dog at the end? Why do we need 5 minutes start? Because they need to know he feeds his dog. Okay,
I feel
Quentin,
like I'm
here.
in English class again.
What's up?
I feel like I'm in English class again. You know, when basically you're reading a book and shit, and they're just like, okay, now this part signifies this.
Yeah.
And you gotta know that it definitely signifies this. What, him just walking in the sand? Yeah, it signifies something.
No, it's fucking.
You
weird.
figure it out. That's day tomorrow.
But you know, in this movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Al Pacino, they allude that he's gonna have a pretty big role, and I don't think that. I mean, the role's important, but he's not in the movie a whole lot. Was that the same case with Hundreds at all?
Oh, actually, the opposite. I think he's probably one of the best parts of the show, because he's kind of he's basically like, again, they keep trying to do a bunch of comic shit, but he essentially is like the Batman of the group. Not the Batman of the group. That's probably the wrong word, but he's the Nick Fury, where he's gathering all of these kind of people that are really good at various stuff. You have these people that are kind of good at technology for the 70s. You have, this actor dude. You have all these people that have these skill sets to use, and he bankrolls them all. So he plays as a Nick Fury, where it's like, yeah, we're gonna figure out who these people are. We're gonna do all this kind of crazy stuff. The problem is almost no one in the show really gets that much development. You have a few people that get some development, and outside of the main kid, Al Pacino, and the two kind of people there's really not that much development. The one character, Roxy, ironically enough, she's part of like the Black civil rights movement, and you're like, oh, that's going to be really interesting of having like this kind of situation happening while they're dealing with Nazis. Her character gets completely forgotten after the 3rd episode. She kills one Nazi and then gets forgotten for the entire rest of the season. Gets brought back at the very end for absolutely nothing to do. And half the actor guy, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. He'll be able to blend in, right? He does like nothing until the last episode. And then you have the weird nun who I can't tell if she betrayed them. I don't know what she was going for, because it's all over the place. There was no consistent tone in the writing. There's no consistent tone with the actors. And it does the fucking worst thing I hate in the fucking world. It does with characters, where the main kid, like, Nazis kill one of his family members. He's like, yeah, we're going to fuck them all up, right? We're going to fuck him up. They deal with the guy that kills his family member. And the second Nazi to get was like, why are we torturing him? We can't be monsters like them. Like, oh my fucking god.
Yeah, and that's something that reminds me of. I mean, and we're not gonna go into a big old thing about this, but remember Walking Dead season 2 where Dale does that, and it's like we spent 5 episodes on trying to figure out how to kill one motherfucker. Where yeah, and I'm like that's cool. That was a cool bit of the story, and I think that that's a good idea for them to care about like ethics and whatnot, and how to not make a very decision. But at the same time, when it's 5 episodes, like you're just meandering the same point. It doesn't matter how fucking sound your ethical storyline is. I don't want to see that for a long time. How long did that last, by the way? Like,
it does some stupid shit just so he can get out. Like, they eventually deal with the problem, but it's like, it's just one of those things where I hate when that happens with characters, where it's like, oh, we revert back to what they were before, because you have to have the moral sense of righteousness in the main character. Because if he immediately decides to go, Nazi killer, we might piss somebody off or some stupid shit. Mm-hmm. Eventually, they're like, oh, we got to make sure he's good so that by the end of the season, he's dark and twisted, because he's like torturing dudes by the end of it. Really? I'm like, I fucking hate that character arc of like, he has to go back and forth and be wishy-washy. I'm like, no, fuck him. Kill them all and let God sort him out.
Yeah, really quick, I want to ask you one more question too, because you're talking about the characters, how they didn't really have any kind of like no one had any direct role as far as what they were doing. Now, I'm thinking of this because like you're talking about like maybe it's like an X-Men or something like that. One thing that I thought of was Ocean's 11, because they have so many characters here, and like as I saw in the trailer for
Freddie Mac was in Ocean's 11.
Oh yeah, he's actually a pretty important part.
Oh, it's been a while since I've seen that movie.
Yeah, he's like the first person that's actually on the team, and then like he's one of the main reasons why they're even able to like know so much about the Bellagio or whatever the fuck. But the thing is though, is like looking at this movie, I was gonna ask you with Hunters, is there another movie about a team that you think they should have kind of emulated more so to kind of have everyone have a direct role, and as far as like building up their character and whatnot?
That is kind of difficult, but like they clearly are emulating like superhero stuff. I honestly any of the CW superhero shows I watch, because when they have their team of people and their interesting skill sets, they're able to utilize them very, very well. So something like Arrow or Flash, where it's like everyone on the team has some sort of like interesting thing. Like on Flash, for instance, you have the main guy, he's super fast, right, and he has his own version of smarts, but he's not a tech savvy guy. So you have the guy on his team, he works at tech. So like, oh, I'll build you the suit, I'll build you this tech to solve this problem, I'll build you whatever the hell. Then you have, his wife who's like, oh, I'm really good at investigative journalism, I'll figure out the information for you so you can use to stop the bad guy. Like, there are plenty of other shows that do this. I'm like, you have the couple there that are really good at technology, and they're really helpful. That's really cool. The nun there, I'm like, okay, you're decent at shooting, I guess, but you're really not utilized that well in this series. Then you have the actor guy. I'm like, okay, you're gonna be supposed to be some sort of grifter, right? You're gonna go undercover. He never does that except at the end. And then again, the Roxy chick does nothing throughout the entire series except for one cool fight sequence. They showed that in the trailer.
Roxy, what the fuck?
Like, she's a cool character with a cool background.
She's like, wow, why'd you do that? No, yeah,
I'm
man.
drinking water. What the fuck do you want?
I'm just saying you should have did something in the fucking Hunter show. Why didn't you just do nothing? Like, pissed
well,
off
I
Alan.
could do something here, but y'all keep talking over me, so that's why I stay in the background.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking about the show, by the way. God damn. Have you seen Hunters, by the way? Yeah, exactly.
No.
That's why you laughing, huh? That's why you fucking laughing. Exactly. God damn it.
No.
With your Isabel avatar.
No, because if I stayed quiet, it would have been awkward. Like, oh, she's serious. I am serious, but not that serious.
So you should be an actor or an actress. Sorry. But
well, the last time you saw me high, that basically convinced you that I'm fucking
no,
weird
you're fucking
shit.
terrifying. No, you're absolutely terrifying. I just want to put that out there. It's like people. She actually she was under a certain influence. That's all I'm gonna say. And I walked into the kitchen. She's literally on the floor going, and I started laughing because Roxy is just funny looking sometimes.
Whoa, is she like the Joker, fucking laughing on the floor with knives all over the place?
That's how you saw me, apparently.
But then, like, she looks up at me and she just starts crying. And I'm like, look, I know I'm ugly, but, like, goddamn, not that bad. And she just starts crying. I'm like, what the fuck? And I just kept laughing because now I'm nervous. And she's like, it's not funny. And, like, not to argue in that moment, but it's really fucking funny. Like, I know comedy's subjective, but you were wrong in that shit. It was hilarious. So, yeah, just put that out there. Roxy actually is scary. But if you still want to approach her, she actually is very approachable. But... yeah, as far as Hunters though, man, I mean, obviously, I think they're gonna be making. I mean, this is Amazon. They're
basically every Mexican mom ever.
But yeah,
the unfortunate thing is like Amazon originals have been like knocking out of the park, but this is like a blunder. I'm like, I don't know what you're going for. I don't know what tone you want to stick with. And I think if you're gonna do a second season, you stick with a tone. You have interesting characters, develop them. Like work with them, make them actually do something. And I don't know what you're gonna do for second season because a lot of the characters are still around. Do something interesting, make it work. Be less wacky and zany. I'm sorry, the Holocaust is up there with one of the most fucking like atrocious atrocities. That's probably a redundant term, but one of the biggest atrocities in human history, like of all time. And I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm the same way I'll never watch Jojo Rabbit. I don't think you should ever make fun and poke jokes at Nazi Germany.
Yeah, because I mean, I'll even say this: I don't think Taika Waititi.
Taika Waititi, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he was very like. I didn't like him, but even let's just say that I'm wrong and he is likable. Why would you make Hitler likable? It's just like it just seems like a very.
I don't think he's trying to make Hitler likable. That's what I'll agree with Ganja. He's just trying to make him a cartoon, a joke. So you're laughing at him. It's not supposed to be, oh, I like him. It's like he is supposed to be this evil character, and Taika Waititi was like, no, he's an idiot. Like he's basically in his own way trying to insult him, like making him look like a blundering idiot. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I can almost respect that, but at the end of the day, I'm sorry, but like it's one of the biggest atrocities in human history. Like imagine if Taika Waititi did 12 Years a Slave. Like what the fuck?
No, see,
like,
I was gonna bring it up
what
too.
the hell are we gonna do there? You know?
No, and that's the thing. I think that we're so far removed from that whole situation with the Holocaust that I think that now people feel like it's okay to make something that's gonna laugh at it. Yeah, how about let's have some fucking idiot make a slavery movie where it's like, ooh, I like that guy who's whipping me or whatever, and make some fucking like weird, almost sexual character.
Look, don't let Freeberg and Seltzer make a fucking another parody movie. They might do it.
No, but it's like that happened so close to now that I think that people would be very, very upset with like a slavery version of this. But
actually, I think slavery ended before the Holocaust started.
Well, like Eero saying Django, no, but that's not funny though. Like Django's actually pretty serious.
Django is an interesting thing because I do like the movie just because it has one of my favorite shootouts near the end.
Well, Leonardo DiCaprio is a real big piece of shit in that, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. He's great in there. I think what it was that I honestly that's a throw to Jet, just be like, because I'm gonna say straight up, I still don't see why people didn't like that movie. Like I heard a lot of different voices, but like to me personally, I don't get it. Like I don't get the hatred.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've never seen Django, but I've seen. Here's the thing: I don't like black slavery, like torture movies. I'm sorry, like I don't like Saw. I don't like black slavery movies. Like that's torture porn. Is like
called Saw black torture.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not saying it is. But what I'm saying is, I don't like people being tortured, especially I don't like shit that's like real too. Because like, basically, you know, everyone watches Saw because it's like this new fucking thing or whatever. But like, you know, that was happening. You know, like not too long ago, like. Some of our grandparents were probably around the time where, like, yeah. I mean, it's fucked up, and it's like when you watch a movie, you're eating popcorn, you're having a good time, you went out to go see it, and then the thing you're gonna watch is people get fucking tortured on screen. Like, you gotta look at yourself a little bit. Like, are you fucking nuts?
Oh, that's why I'll never watch another Hostel movie.
Oh god, I fucking hate Hostel. God,
because at least at the end of the day with Saw, it's like it's a game, so it's like, hey, if you're able to play and like you're able to do some stuff, like you can genuinely survive it. Hostel was just let's torture people for fucking an hour and a half and then sell their body parts or some stupid shit.
And they're
it bugs me when people take it too far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I understand, you know, the gore is part of the show. It's part of the reason why some people want to go out there. They want to see how realistic it is, how bloody it is, X reason here. It bothers me when people get too into that shit and they're like, oh, I love fucking blood and guts and gore and I'm edgy, I'm super fucking emo, I love all this fucking shit. I want more. That shit bugs me.
Yeah.
Who the fuck are you trying to impress? Or, you know, I've worked in the system. I've seen some fucked up shit. I'm not on the clock, but if I see that shit in public, I'm gonna call up some people and put you in a fucking mental hospital, bitch. No,
seriously, man. Like, it's like, I feel like when something like that is done, you have to look at the person who's actually watching it and someone who's really, really enjoying it. Like, I know I've watched horror movies and shit too, but it is cartoony. Like I don't know. And Alan, you can tell me how fucking stupid and full of shit I am about this, but like, I can't watch surgery videos. Like, you know how on regular TV they have that now?
Oh yeah.
I mean, they've had it for like 20 years, but like they're working on people's brains, and like that's a real brain. So like, even though they're trying to help him, and it's a good thing that they're doing, and they're doctors. I can't watch that. I will literally twitch in my fingers. I lose feeling in my fingers.
Well, because it's real. It's like when you're watching something like, because there's what is it? It's a suspension of disbelief. Mm-hmm. When you're watching something, when you're watching a media, playing a video game, there's something called suspension of disbelief. And what that means is how you as a person, and it changes for every person in there, is how much into the world can you just forget that it's fake. Like when you're watching something, when you're playing a video game, how engrossed and immersed are you into the world? For you, Nick, you have a incredibly low sense of like there almost nothing will ever get you into like to be like, oh, is this world real? You'll always be like, this is fake, this is stupid. I've noticed that from you. For me, for instance, I'm the opposite. I have such a high suspension of disbelief that I can go into any world, and that's why I honestly don't like horror movies. Because it's all about like interesting, cool ways to kill people. I can't deal with that because it's like I get so immersed into the world. It's like watching people. It's like, oh, these people are dying, and I'm watching it. It makes me uncomfortable. It makes me not want to watch it. That's one of the reasons I don't ever want to watch another Final Destination movie, because of just how fucked up and how willy-nilly people die. Or if I see someone just get killed off randomly, it pisses me off more than anything because I'm like, hey, death is a big fucking deal. But for you, it's the complete opposite. So when you're watching a surgery video, since you have no suspension of disbelief and it's 100% real, it affects you way more because you know this is real.
Well, like another.
For me, I'm interested in it. Not the blood and gore part, but just when it comes to like a real body, how a surgery is performed. I like seeing how the body works, how it functions, how we as humans have evolved so far to be able to like stop this vein from bleeding and then opening this up and just seeing how the world works and breaking it apart. That's interesting to me. But I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh my God, look at all this fucking blood and gore. I'm going to jack my dick off in the middle of this fucking movie theater because I love this shit.
I'm kind of with you, Roxy, when it's like surgery on television, whatever the hell. That does interest me. It's just, yeah, again, bring up Hostel as a perfect example. It's like, they're not doing anything like, oh, we're going to explore the body. No, they're just like, let's cut these people's arms and legs off because it's cool and we have enough, like, we have a really good practical effects team, so we're able to make this look as real as possible. It's like, you're just doing gore for gore's sake.
Eero was talking about, never watched this movie called Serbian Film. I know Corey talked about that once. He said that he got really fucking mad and left the screening. I could have sworn that was a movie. I could be wrong, but yeah.
It is. It's a really fucked up movie.
Yeah.
It has pedophilia in it too.
Are you fucking serious? Like,
and I think raping of gay baby, not gay babies. Wow.
Oh yikes!
Raping of dead babies. Wouldn't it be worse though? Raping of gay dead babies.
Like, why are you talking shit on the baby? Like, by the way, this baby's gay. Just to piss
Also,
off.
I was looking at my phone reading something about gay people and stuff, and basically I just got mixed up and said like, oh, raping gay dead babies.
I'm trying not to laugh more. But like, that's
I'm good.
I'd laugh at it. Not at the raping of the gay dead babies, I mess up.
I do, if you will.
Wow, Jen, Jesus fucking Christ. Quit, just quit. Not while your head behind, just quit. Just stop.
Alan, I fucked up. It's funny. You can laugh at your fuck ups.
But
yeah, I'm good, man. I'm just gonna leave it there.
I've seen a Serbian film. I've seen a lot of fucking banned controversial films.
I'm good.
Oh, man. There's one more thing that's controversial, but like it doesn't show too much. But like this really fucks me up too. The realism of it all. There's a documentary we talked about a couple times on this show, and Roxy, I never got your full opinion on it.
Oh, is this the cat one?
Yeah, don't fuck with cats.
Oh, I saw that.
This movie, I now I'm so far removed from it that I can even admit, like, I literally started crying.
Don't fuck with gay dead cats.
Dude, I never wanted to like skin a motherfucker alive ever. Like this motherfucker because he's a serial killer too. Like, let's not just get locked within like, oh, he kills cats. Which is
I think that was one of the main problems everyone had with the film is that they focus more on him killing the cats rather than the person. But when you watch it, the second and third episode was basically more focused on him being a serial killer.
Yeah,
I'm good.
And these people are out there like right fucking now. There's serial killers killing people like as we talk. It's like I don't want to like after watching something like this, just hearing the story. I mean, it didn't show any deaths or whatever, but it's like knowing that this happens so often. Like I don't even want to live in this fucking world. Like it's so.
It's not necessarily happens often. It's just that it's like you can tell based on how a person died whether or not it was like it's called forensic science. You can tell how a person died whether or not it was malicious, accidental, premeditated, or it was the works of a serial killer. Like serial killers don't really happen that often anymore because usually we can get them after a death or two. Where it's like usually serial killers have some sort of MO. It's usually premeditated. There's usually some weird bullshit. I mean, Rox probably knows more about this than I do, but from all the shit that I read up, it's like, yeah, that doesn't happen as often as it used to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. But Roxy, like, yeah, I remember we talked about this a little bit, but I want to get your more of your opinion on this. Like, what'd you feel? Like, did you feel entertained by just how well it's made? Because it was made well, but what was your thoughts watching this afterwards and whatnot?
Oh, I was heavily engrossed. Like during the first parts with the cats, I'm like, oh, this is sad. This is really fucking sad. This is making me uncomfortable. I don't want to watch this shit. And then when it got to the whole serial killer aspect of it, I did see that video in my earlier years. I think I was in high school when I heard kids talking about it and whispering about it because for some reason my high school was extremely obsessed with like, you remember when one man, one jar, two girls,
Yeah.
one cup was like hot?
Oh yeah, yeah. And
There were
heavy
kids.
R.
They were like the BME Pain Olympics.
Mhm.
That shit was hot in middle school. Every like middle school, high school, everyone was talking about all these different videos that people were watching off all these shock sites. Like people were talking about best
Oh, yeah.
gore.
Yeah.
So
that shit.
I did actually see that video, and once I made the connections, I thought it was even more interesting. But then I saw the ending, and I'm like, man,
Yeah.
why?
Yeah. It just
And
it
because
drives me
of
crazy.
and because of the ending, not to reveal too much, but there's a certain groups of people that are actually quite close that we might know. That I'm
Oh.
pretty sure we do know about.
All right.
That I look at them a certain way.
Mhm.
Not
Yeah, man.
because of it. Or just people who get themselves engrossed
As
into
Nick just
something
shows the
too
chat.
much.
Yeah. Oh, that was bad timing, huh?
There's a certain amount of people I won't mention. Nick just shows the
And
chat.
here you are, you motherfucker.
It's right there, officer. Thank
Get
you.
him! Just a bunch of, just that gif of like the SWAT team raiding his house.
But yeah, no, the only reason I show is because there's nothing showing on the other screen. You know, it just looks like meh, a little empty. But no, yeah, dude, like this is a show that or series or whatever that really fucking got to me. So I don't know, I hate watching shit like that. But yeah, I like how this was a spawn after the fucking Hunters talk. But really quick, before we get the fuck out of here with this and whatnot, because I know Corey already started. Alan, what would you rate Hunters like out of 5?
Honestly, 5. Oh, out of 5? I thought out of 10. I was just give it. Honestly, it's 2.5.
2.5
It's-
out of 10 or 5?
Yeah, I struggled to finish it. Like, it has an interesting plot twist at the end. And I remember texting my buddy, I'm like, I would have liked this plot twist if I cared about the show.
Yeah.
Like, this would have been great if it mattered. But it's like, at that point, I stopped caring. And the interesting ways the trailer was shot is not indicative of the actual material. And I don't know if I want to watch the second season. I don't know. I'm gonna wait and see if there's raving reviews. But like at this point, I have other things to watch. So I literally forgot I watched the show.
So one thing I want to talk about really quick too before we get the hell out of here and whatnot is our girl Roxy over here was watching a particular movie or two particular movies and
Oh Lord.
oh lord oh lord I do want to bring this up though. I'm curious why you even went back to watch this piece of shit. She watched Batman Begins and Dark
Man,
Knight.
fuck you.
This movie right here, Batman Begins, is a piece of fucking boring shit. I cannot stand this movie. But yeah, Roxy, what was the reason why you came back and watched this duology or whatever the case may be?
Honestly, I started out backwards. I started out with The Dark Knight, and then I went to Batman Begins, which I know doesn't make sense, but whatever, fuck you. So I just started thinking about today's society and like why people are going back to watching these like morbid movies and its tie-ins to society and how relevant it was and yada yada. Then I started thinking about all the cringy ass people that took the Joker too damn seriously and idolized the fucking man.
Yeah.
So I sat down, started making what connections I could and what connections people like to make in regards to these movies.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them, I get it. I can see why they would make those certain connections, but honestly, it just made me cringe seeing certain parts. And for a good majority, these still hold up.
Oh yeah, look at
Agreed.
that scene right there. That's so fucking. And you said that was CG, right, Alan?
No, it's not. The
okay.
CG I was talking about is right before is when it's basically it's right at the start of there, and he actually uses the Batmobile and just destroys a fucking dump truck. That particular scene, the truck flip scene, almost didn't make it into the movie because the stunt coordinator, so the stunt supervisor, told Christopher Nolan, "You are fucking crazy. You will kill somebody if you try to do this fucking flip." And Christopher Nolan's like, "Can we do this? Is there a safe way to do this?" He's like, "Dude, gravel's gonna start shattering windows when this thing lands. You like, I don't know how the fuck we're gonna do this." And you would see the test footage. So how they actually did the truck flip scene is in the center of the street. There's a piston that went up. So when it flips, it looks like it actually flipped from the front, but it actually flips from the middle. And you can actually see on YouTube the behind the scenes footage of them testing it out. And like the streets are cleared, like it's actually in the middle. That's why there's a bit of a smoke from underneath, because that's where the fucking giant piston hit.
Wow, holy shit, man. Yeah, so I mean it's pretty cool, but yeah, like I understand why you're watching it for that. What you call? I was gonna call you Jet. My bad. And Jet's gonna whoop my ass too. No, but Roxy, yeah, I understand why you're watching it. I know some people are actually getting that scene where he's talking about like, yeah, you just let the city, take away from the city and see how they're all like trying to be all fucking nice and everything, and then they just lose their minds. It's like one little push to make someone go crazy, which is cool. I think it's a little corny now. I think lots of things that Joker and Batman say in that movie, it's pretty fucking corny.
Oh, 100%.
But I mean, like, as far as that goes, do you feel like this movie is enhanced in quality because of our current situation, or do you think that it kind of aged a little bit poorly?
I feel like a lot of people are watching it for that reason because they like generally when it comes to movies, it's more of a fantasy experience to take yourself out of the real world. So people would watch this and be like, "Yeah, I want the world to go into chaos so I can be like Joker, so I can be just like him." And then, well, look at where we are now with the whole coronavirus thing, and then the 4 asteroids coming to fucking bust our asses wide open.
Yeah,
We are essentially in a state of chaos. Right now, people are freaking out. No one knows what to do.
Yeah.
We're trying to do and handle everything the best that we can day by day. So there was some relevancy tie-ins with the whole like boat scene where people are given a choice like, okay, these people had their chance. Kill them. And it's like, no, these people are innocent, but they're really not. Kill them. So it was just a lot of mind picking. And then with some of the stuff I've seen along the way in life, working in some fucked up places, I just had fun making my own connections. So I like seeing movie tie-ins along with real world tie-ins. Because people are doing that now, if you guys haven't noticed, with like pandemic movies.
Yeah.
What was that one movie that came out, Alan? Outbreak or whatever?
Yeah, but both Contagion and Outbreak, they're trying to use those as like, oh yeah, this is, these movies called this shit. I'm like, both those movies suck.
Yeah, and I mean, like, for me, I feel like those stories are pretty simple too. Like Contagion, I think was like, you guys didn't really explore too much with this concept other than just the basic of like, yeah, like this is how contagion. I mean, like I don't know, this is how viruses work. It's like
it's an interesting way of people coping. It's like, okay, well, some people watch it because that's how they cope. Like, okay, this person, like, we're going through this whole entire fucking ordeal, so let's watch and see what happens when movie people go through this ordeal. It kind of sucks them out of their reality for a little bit, or maybe they just want to be morbid fuckers and just be like, hey, this is what we're going to go through. I better take some notes.
Honestly,
and some people just watch it because they like it.
I think it's just meme culture. Because everyone's like, oh man, there's an outbreak going on. Let's go watch the movies that talk about it. And those two were just the most recent,
And it's so
but it is a form, memes are a form of coping. True. A lot of people don't realize it, but it's been generally keeping a lot of people stable. Just laughter, comedy in general.
Everyone who does memes are just basically TJ Miller from fucking Cloverfield. It's just like, hey, something's horrible happening. Let's make a joke. Like, oh god, I that movie ruined comedy in disastrous situations for me. It's like I cannot stand. Like it was like a '90s thing, and almost like an early 2000s thing, where there's always that one guy always like, hey, like, isn't it crazy? That's a big ass fucking monster, anyways. It's like you're taking a balls off the situation. Let's take it seriously. Let's respect the fucking concept of the movie.
Yeah, and let's watch Deep Impact.
That movie's great.
That movie's fucking terrible. We tried to watch it after hours. It was fucking awful.
At the time, it was cool. And that one guy.
That sounds like a porn, honestly.
Yeah, Deep Impact.
Armageddon is Nick's favorite movie, so I'm surprised you don't like that better.
Oh, fuck you. And Armageddon's great. And we're going to take care, just like what fucking Roxy said earlier, we're going to take care of those 4 asteroids. We're going to send some fucking missiles over there and blast
I want to point out that neither Armageddon nor Deep Impact would work. We do not have the level, depending on the size of the asteroids, we do not have the means to destroy it or the time period to do so. However, if we're going to pick which movie had a more realistic version of it, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Armageddon is a more realistic interpretation of how you would deal with that problem. Deep Impact is abhorrently stupid to the extent where they ended by ramming the fucking thing and then it just vaporizes into dust. This fucking like toothpick of a spaceship manages to destroy something that's the size of our moon. Like I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this? Whoever wrote this movie's an idiot.
Black Mage says he actually likes how all the Batman live action movies feel like timepieces. Yeah, they really are. Like they're taken directly from their from when they came out. It's like it's so full of its own culture.
Yeah. I could talk all day about Dark Knight, so don't get me started.
No, true. And I don't even want to hear that shit because you love your fucking
Fuck
Dark
you.
Knight.
I fucking love. It's my favorite movie of all time. Okay,
I-
you like Terminator 2. I got the Dark Knight.
Well, Dark Knight's in my top
Both
5.
sequels.
I know, but I won't even say the movie's bad. Dark Knight's in my top 5. I like
how you don't even want to watch that new movie with me tonight, but if I would have said, hey guys, let's watch Dark Knight tonight, you know your ass would have been all fucking over that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The first movie I watched in this decade was The Dark Knight. So you goddamn right. I would say let's fuck this
you're
show.
right.
Let's
You
watch
did
The Dark
see
Knight
that.
right now.
Yeah, no, he ain't fucking lying, people. He actually went to go see this movie in a movie theater because they re-released it at the beginning of the day.
Buddy of mine texted me, yo, what are you doing Sunday? I don't know. I mean, I got a couple things. Yo, they're playing Dark Knight at the movie theater near your house. I'm like, okay, let's fucking go. I already bought the tickets. Okay, cool. Who's in? We're watching this fucking movie. Watching it again was really interesting because like you always have that. Do you ever have that feeling with you guys when you have your favorite movie ever or favorite whatever ever, and part of you thinks you just overhype it?
Yeah.
Because like, oh, it's been a while, so you're afraid to watch it because you don't want it to suck or you don't want it to you don't enjoy it as much. So you almost avoid watching it just to keep the idea that this is like the most amazing thing in the world. Like walking into that theater, I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this as much as I fucking like it. But no, it still fucking holds up.
Well, there's
like
moments. At the Joker, when he first when there's situations where it's kind of like, I mean, this is one scene where he's like in that little jail or like interrogation room, but like another thing too is like when he's clapping and like there's gonna be an explosion, like knowing what's gonna happen still kind of like accentuates just little things like him just patiently staying there in the cell while that one guy has a phone in his stomach or whatever the fuck, and even situations too like where he's like, hit me, and he's in the fucking road.
I want you to do it. Come on, hit me. I want you to come on, do it, hit me.
Yeah, I love that shit.
Yeah, and that's what I like. There's so many scenes I could pick out because, like, that's why I like Christian Bale and specifically The Dark Knight because that's the first time you really get a sense of there's a dude under this suit. Because the movie doesn't start off with him being bad. I mean, it does start off with him being bad to a degree, but what does it do? It immediately cuts to him being in a boardroom. So when you're watching that scene and he's driving towards this dude in this awesome motorcycle, that's a businessman underneath. He has stocks to deal with in the morning. He has lawyers to talk with in the morning. But what's he doing right now? He's in a fucking armored suit about to run down this crazy motherfucker after flipping a fucking truck. Like, this is the reason that Terminator 2 is the best Terminator movie is because it is the apex of what you can do with the Terminator idea. You will never be able to make something better because it's already the best you could do with it. It's two immortal, unfeeling robots fighting amongst themselves with a kid caught in between. You're never going to be anything as perfect because every other movie has tried to do that. Hell, Terminator Dark Fate is just trying to do that again. But you're never going to be able to get it because that already reached its apex. The Dark Knight is the apex of Batman. It is the epitome of what Batman stands for, fighting with the epitome of what the Joker stands for. That's why all the interpretations of the Joker have been trying to be the Dark Knight again, even with the movie The Joker. He's trying to be that crazy, broken by society character, but you're never going to be able to get that again because it was already done perfectly once. You're just going to have to do something different.
That's true. Mauricio saying for the first time he actually watched part 3 of Friday the 13th. This fucking movie, it's funny because we're talking about quality. Let's get to the lack of quality. Let's go opposite today. Holy
fuck!
fucking shit.
Movies, let's go to shitty ones.
Yeah, Mauricio, tell us in the chat what you thought about this. But yeah, man, I forced Jet to watch these movies, and I gotta say, it was this movie in particular.
You should apologize to her.
Yeah, at that point I was like, man, Jay ain't gonna like these. I don't even know why I'm trying. I don't even know why I'm trying. Because I mean, for one, I think this is a movie too where they actually show a scene, like a flashback scene, where Jason apparently raped this girl too. Which I'm like,
I don't fucking remember.
Yeah, like when I was a kid, I guess I just completely ignored that because I'm like, oh, Jason's a badass, and you want to have your main horror villain be a badass. It's not badass to rape. I'm like, what the fuck? Why would his mongoloid fucking dead zombie ass want to fuck? Like, why would he want to do that? It's weird, but like. Jed, was this the first moment where you felt like, okay, yeah, fuck this franchise, I'm not gonna like Jason movies?
And you're talking about the second one, right?
Oh, the third one. Well, it's the second Jason one, but it's a
they honestly all blend together.
Yeah, I don't even know which one happened.
The turd one.
The turd one.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know. Hell, I don't even remember what the fucking third one even had.
What happened in it?
Well, they're all the same movie technically, but like this is the first one where you had the mask, the hockey.
Like if you were to ask me what happens in like the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth one, I'd be like, I don't know which one's which.
Jet, just say Jason comes back to life and then kills a bunch of campers. You're gonna be 95% correct.
Well, like, Jet, I'm gonna ask you this: like, at what point did you feel that this was just a bad franchise? Because, like, I mean, let's take away like what movies were.
I will say the first one was probably the least bad out of all of them, despite being kind of boring. Until the end.
Yeah, and Black Mage is like, what's acceptable badass behavior? I guess.
Now, what's
you know,
acceptable murdering of innocent people for you?
well,
Like,
it's
what
a
makes that
movie.
badass?
It's a movie. You know, like I mean, you think
They're
Joker's
still
badass?
innocent kids at the end of the day.
But
It's
Joker's
not like they're criminals or they did something wrong. Like, no, they're just like, yeah, fuck it, we're gonna be young and go out and have fun, and he murders them because I don't fucking know.
Roxy, I want to see a movie about badass recycler.
People who
I mean,
recycle.
people that are badass care about the planet and care about other people. That's
True.
fucking badass to me.
So you want a Saw movie where it's like I saw you throw I thought you saw like trash on the floor and it's just like a Saw game around that.
Yeah.
You threw that Cheeto bag on the floor, and now you're gonna get your foot cut off.
A new Saw movie, basically, where people are tortured by having to be good, actual, decent people.
You're gonna pick up all this trash. And for every single trash you don't put in the proper receptacle, you get stabbed by a needle.
That would be a good idea.
That was plastic. Plastic's not decomposable. Oh god.
The cornfield scene, people are saying that like, yeah, like that was a pretty cool Jason moment. Like that's a badass moment. These two guys are getting
Freddy
high
vs.
being
Jason is a
assholes.
great movie. It's the best Jason movie.
No, but I'm saying like that's a badass moment. Like Jason being a badass. Like that's one of those moments where I'm like, look, I don't really like. Do you really care about this kid? Is he really innocent?
Yes.
No,
He's not innocent. This guy's a douchebag.
I mean, okay. Again, it's been a while
He's
since I
picking
watched
on
the fucking
Jason
movie. So, like,
already. He's
unless he
being
went
bullied.
and raped a young girl or stole from an old person or killed somebody, yeah, he's probably pretty innocent. He's just an asshole.
No, but that's
Like-
the thing. Don't be an asshole, or Jason gonna
But,
fuck
but,
you
but
up.
that doesn't deserve. You don't deserve to die because you're kind of a douche.
And then this
I don't know.
asshole
If you
over here-
ask me in high school, like those people will gladly deserve to die.
And like this guy over here actually does try to rape one of the characters, and Jason fucks him up. Like Jason's a superhero in this movie. Like
No, he's not. He's literally the villain of the movie. Well, okay, you want a badass scene? The fucking scene in which
Actually, also, technically, Jason kills her right afterward.
well, that was on accident.
no, oh fuck you.
She was in the way. Like I mean, like he was trying to
So
kill
he
him.
didn't save her. He was
Jason-
just gonna kill her.
No, Jason was like, listen, that's not right. He's touching inappropriately. She
No.
doesn't look like she's enjoying this.
Yeah, so
And-
let me make sure I do it instead.
Well, he's
like,
kind of he's a little retarded. You know, he fucked up.
yes, he is. No, you want a badass fucking Jason moment when they pull Freddy out of the dream and both of them stare down at each other and he fucking just like wrestling style just throws him through the fucking windows and shit. I'm like, that was
Yeah.
fucking cool.
I like when he was drowning in that van.
Oh, that was gross. That was awful. But yeah, in the scene you're talking about, dude, yeah, I do love this whole area here, like that whole scene. And Freddy's actually scared of him, looking up like, oh fuck no.
Well, because he realizes that this is probably the only person on Earth that could stop him.
Yeah, man, like right here, and Freddy's still talking shit. Look at him looking down at Jason, like just like, yeah, fuck you, bitch. I love this
Well,
movie so
because
much.
this movie shows how stupid and how just like, yeah, because even Freddy's like, you're just a fucking dog. Like, you're just a loser who can just nonstop killing. You have no brain. You have no nothing. So you're just murdering. I actually have an intelligence. I have a plan. I have shit that I'm doing. Like, I got plans. What do you got? You're just strong. You're a brute.
Yeah, so I mean, I do like that. I know the movie gets corny and shit, but yeah, man, that was actually pretty cool.
I
stuff.
actually love Freddy vs. Jason.
But yeah, but that's one of those situations though. Like, yeah, Jason movies were cool when they were out, but you know, for the people, I wasn't actually alive then, so I can't really say that. But, well, dude, I mean, it made money. Like, it made. I mean, obviously, people
barely
liked it. But the thing is, though, is like those were always fun for the people who went to go see them. But I think like years after, like no one really gives a shit. But Dark Knight, 10 years later, people are still talking. I mean, actually, 12 years later, people are still talking about the Dark Knight, and that goes to show that that movie, like, its quality made it not age, I think.
100%, because it focused on what made the character who he was. It wasn't trying, like, I'll say this straight up, there's only maybe a handful of Marvel movies I think will stand the test of time. The first Avengers, the first Iron Man, probably Winter Soldier, because a lot of the other movies, maybe the first Guardians, because a lot of the other movies relied on the fact that you liked Marvel. Like, Guardians 2 is not going to be remembered. Age of Ultron's not going to be remembered. Like, Thor: The Dark World, nobody remembers. So it's like, but when you have something like The Dark Knight, the reason it stands the test of time is because that is the apex of what it is to be Batman. That is like it. I talk about this all the fucking time, but Batman's character is a talking point. It is his view on how to deal with crime. Is he will embody the worst of humanity so that nobody else has to deal with the worst of humanity. That's his entire character. That sums up every action he does in that movie is he'll take the darkness so that nobody else has to deal with it. Like when Harvey Dent has the gun to that dude's head, and at this point nobody knows that that's like the coin thing, because it's kind of a, it's not revealed into the end, but like you think, oh, he might kill that dude. And Batman's like, no, what the fuck are you doing? I got all the information. I did the dirty work, so you don't fucking have to. You can be the light, I'll be the dark. That's how this works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're talking about like, how dare you disrespect Ultron? Yeah,
Oh, fuck Ultron! Don't get me.
Ultron's great.
I've been talking good shit. I haven't even yelled this entire fucking show. Don't get me started on fucking Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron's fucking great, and it's better
Fuck
than
you,
it's
man.
definitely-
Fuck Vision. I never forgave Vision for
It's,
that
it's,
fucking.
it's barely about Vision. Like, come on.
He picks up Thor's hammer.
Yeah,
And
that,
the fucking mentality is, well, I was born yesterday. Does that mean babies can pick up the hammer?
I know, but dude, but like, the hammer thing's stupid anyways. That's
No,
a
it's
fault
not. The best
Thor.
part of the fucking movie is the characters sitting around and they're trying to. Thor's like, well, you're simply not worthy. He's not saying they're bad people. They're all generally good people. But worthiness is not about being good. It is about what makes you who you are. So when everyone's lifting the hammer and they're not doing that, and it's kind of played funny, the emotional subtext underneath is that the fact that worthiness is not about being good. It doesn't mean you're a bad person if you're not worthy. It just means what the hammer deems as worthiness, where your power comes from. That's what's important.
Okay.
So when
you're
Captain
about to get
America
long with this, I can tell.
I don't know, I'm almost done. So when Captain America slightly nudges it, and you see Thor going ha 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 to oh shit, that's when Thor knew he was worthy. He just didn't believe he was worthy.
So
It wasn't
gonna-
until like
Oh, go ahead, Jet.
He wants you to name a better pair than Ultron and Vision.
okay, Thanos and Gamora.
Okay, I don't know, but here's the thing.
None. That didn't even take me long.
But-
Milk and
Captain-
Oreos. Bet.
But no, here's the thing. I'm gonna just debunk your shit, or no, I'm not gonna debunk it. I'm just gonna give you my point, because like, let's say I'm probably wrong because you're into this shit more than I am. But I'll do this very, very short. The whole
Sure.
reason why no one can pick up the hammer is because they're all flawed people, because they've been on this earth for so long that they've done shit that makes them kind of flawed, which makes sense because they're human. That's the whole. That's what the series always keeps telling you. These people are just like us. Vision is not like us. He's incredible. He's amazing. So when he's able to pick it up, it's like, yeah, he's worthy because he hasn't been here long enough to fuck up like all these other just like us ass people, because they're all flawed and he's damn near perfect.
Okay, so babies can pick up the hammer?
Well, I mean, do you?
A baby that was born yesterday can pick up Thor's hammer.
But see, but here's the thing though, Alan.
I
Like,
mean,
that's
if
how
they had
stupid
the
the storyline
strength,
is.
maybe.
Well, yeah, but like that's the thing. Like they're not gonna trust a baby to. Like, what would it wouldn't help them to have
But-
a baby pick up the hammer, Alan? Like I mean, like
No, but my point
baby
being
versus
is
the
that
monsters. Like what?
But the reason that honestly it was just lazy writing that they had to pick up, because this character gets introduced in essentially the last act of the movie and they have no reason to
Alan.
trust him. They even say that, how are we supposed to trust this guy? And he picks the hammer up as a way of going, he's good, guys, we know he's good because he picked the hammer up. And then it's a cheap device to essentially speed up his character
But
development.
Alan,
'Cause
but that's a problem with the entire Thor thing. Is like it's
No.
lazy writing that. Wait, why can't he pick up the hammer and somebody else can't? I'm worthy. That's like
yeah, but they spent the entirety of the first
Okay, we're getting
movie
into a big old-
like you again. I ended my point. You brought in the second point.
Well,
Like,
the reason
the-
I said the second point is because I just wanted, like, wasn't. That's why I said beforehand, like, I'm not trying to say your point's wrong. I just want to give you another idea, just so maybe you can think about that later, or people in the chat can think about that later. But like,
Okay,
this will
okay.
just go
You don't
around
have
in
to keep going because
I'm sorry. It's just like because that shit just gets so crazy, and the end game just tells us both that we're both stupid. So it's like, who gives a fuck?
no. In fact, that's the only part. That's one of the few parts of Endgame I like, is that I wish they did it better. But it's like, yeah, Captain America is able to pick up Thor's hammer because he finally believes in himself. I wish they did it better and hung on that moment. But yeah, picking up Thor's hammer, it's like, yeah, he's finally worthy at the end of his arc. He's always been worthy, but he finally believes in himself.
Okay.
Not at the end of that movie.
Oh, don't get me started on the Captain America bullshit.
But here's the thing, though, really quick, and I'm gonna see if you can actually win me over on this, because this is a show that I have not gotten into at all. Westworld, man. So hopefully Ruth doesn't ruin anything for you.
No, he did not yet. But give it a couple episodes. He'll find a way to ruin the season for me too.
Yeah, man. So what do you think about the first 2 episodes of Westworld season 3? I know like episode 3 is probably already out now, but you just really got into this, right?
Yeah, no. Episode 2 aired yesterday, so I am fully caught up. The thing about this show is, I think this is gonna be one of those shows where it's really good, but it's gonna fly under the radar only because it's very slow sci-fi. It's not like Star Trek or Star Wars, where it's like, oh man, explosions and good and evil, and we gotta fight, we gotta get hope and resistance. It's like, no, we're gonna establish a lot of like it talks about what makes humans, what makes people real, like who are you at the end of the day, is your world real, and just kind of bouncing between characters as they're trying to deal with this really fucked up world after the events of the last 2 seasons. And it's just bringing up a lot of these slow concepts of what is reality and how are we going to deal with the aftermath of this robot uprising. And just a lot of the stuff they're doing is really interesting. It's developing a world building outside the park, which we never had. We had dialogue and a few images, but this is the first time we're really like, what is the world like? And you're following Aaron Paul, Jesse from Breaking Bad in the first episode. And it's really interesting just how the kind of world works. It's very similar to ours, but there's just a lot of cool, interesting technology around, and you're trying to figure out like how is he dealing with this world, you know?
Yeah, Ed Harris aged like a motherfucker. Like, is he really that old? Or they make him older in the show?
I mean, he's old. He's old as fuck.
Okay.
He hasn't shown up in the show yet, but the first episode was just like, yeah, they're establishing the main villain, which is going to be Dolores, and she wants to get she's basically a robot from the park that gains sentience. Just because of the technology the code was always morphing, and she gained sentience because of how good the code was. And she's like, yeah, you guys destroyed my people and raped and murdered us just for fun. Yeah, fuck y'all. So this is her basically going to the real world to try to fuck around and get the resources she needs to get back at the humans, to kill them all, essentially. That's the first episode. Is she meets up with Aaron Paul, and he like, we don't know what's going to happen yet, because the second episode deals with another very powerful, important character from the last season. She has the ability of manipulating the robots around her, so she can control them the same way humans could control the robots, because they're voice activated. So you walk up to them, freeze motor functions, and they'll freeze in place, or they'll tell you, hey, repeat your last words, or what happened to you today, and they'll tell you everything. She has that power as well. And she's too powerful to be left alone in the park, so they trapped her in this weird Matrix AI world. And she spends the entire episode just breaking out of it, and it's fucking awesome. I made the joke on the Facebook that this is just Matrix Reloaded. The second episode is just Matrix Reloaded. She's finding interesting ways of fucking with reality, understanding that her reality is fake, and essentially fucking with the program from within to break out. And it's really interesting just how she's able to figure this stuff out. The conversations they're having of paradoxes and code, and how even though that people are sophisticated, they're still lazy. They'll still redo like the way she breaks out, or the way she's breaking out, is she uses redundancies in the code to open a backdoor channel to leave. And her thing is like, yeah, no matter how sophisticated people are, they're also inherently lazy. And when you think about it, it's like, well, how is this a problem? Wouldn't they account for it? It's like with video games. And have you ever heard anyone reuse an asset, reuse a building, reuse a character model? That happens no matter where you go, no matter how sophisticated the product is. To save time, you reuse assets. She just used that to exploit a nature nobody ever thought of.
Really? Okay, yeah. And like I said, as crazy and abstract that sounds, I will say that like this seems a little bit more. Maybe it's just the way you're saying it, but I feel like I can follow this because like I couldn't follow shit in season 1. Like there's like, I think it was like episode 2. I was already like, what the fuck is going on?
It's very overwhelming. This is closer to season 1 than season 2. Season 2 was like, fuck it, we're just gonna go crazy. We're gonna go different worlds. We're gonna have all sorts of crazy bullshit. This is the slow sci-fi, and I really like that because I'm watching Star Trek Discovery. It's very fast paced, but this is very slow. It's methodical. It takes its time. But I personally never found myself bored, though. You see reviews on there going, oh, it's tedious and boring. No, it just doesn't have a bunch of explosions and people with lightsabers, you know? You can have sci-fi without having giant planning, destroying vehicles all over the place.
Yeah, but really quick, since we're talking about these shows, and I had you talk about 2 of them, I want to ask you, and I'm not going to ask you for a rating on these because it's like, obviously you got to like watch more, whatever. I mean, is there one episode that you prefer more than the other, though, before we move on?
I think I prefer episode 2, only because I like a prison break. I like somebody breaking out.
You like the show Prison Break.
Oh fuck! 4 seasons of that fucking terrible show. But it's always, to me, like that's like a guilty pleasure. If you're breaking out of a prison or if you're breaking out of a place, I just enjoy more. That's probably why I like Good Time more than Uncut Gems. He's just essentially running away from the cops and breaking people out of prison. It's awesome. So that's probably why I like it a little bit more. But they're both about the same quality.
Okay, and one thing I want to bring up really quick, because there's 2 episodes that I haven't failed to bring up, and I've wanted to talk about one of them. Last week, but I just couldn't. This time didn't allow me to do so. But The Walking Dead. I'm a huge Walking Dead fan, as you guys know. I watch the show all the fucking time. I'm the only one in our group that watches The Walking Dead. And although, maybe a couple people from this group used to watch it back in the day, things have not actually continued on in that sense. But
I stopped at season 8.
So one of the things that you always bring up, and lots of people always bring up, is, man, Walking Dead just keeps on meandering and keeps trying to find new like destinations for the story to go to, and it would be a lot better if they actually had some kind of purpose, some kind of goal, so we can slowly move towards that goal instead of like changing it up every single season. So do you still feel that way at all?
To a certain degree, yeah, because it's just like finding reasons to exist when it's like this world this world shouldn't exist anymore. Like they solved so many problems. Like after season 8, and they essentially deal with Negan. Like the fact that there's any more problems is kind of ridiculous.
And the one thing I will say is that this episode I'm about to talk about, season 10, episode 13. The reason why this episode I feel like it fails a little bit is because of that particular notion. This fucking thing over here is Michonne. We haven't seen her all season, and it's already been kind of put out there that Michonne, this is her last season of The Walking Dead. She's moving on to Marvel stuff. She's going to be in whatever the continuation of Endgame and etc. is, or Black Panther 2. She's out. But the thing is, though, is people are expecting, okay, well, she's going to die. You know what I mean? And
that wig is so horrible.
I think the wig's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
It is bad. That's a bad wig.
But yeah.
Oh, look at that shit.
I mean, I can't tell if it's bad, so I'll take it to the expert.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know either, really. But it's like I didn't know it was a wig when I was watching season 3 and season 4 until I saw her in Conan.
Look
And
at
I was
that
like, oh my God.
fucking hairline.
Yeah, I mean, but here's the thing, though. Like,
I'm gonna tell you something. Hairlines don't make perfect, like, round circles like that. They don't.
Good stylist in the zombie apocalypse?
I mean, well, they have nothing else to do. Maybe she's
And then, good stylist. Like, your hair would not do that.
But like, here's the thing. Earlier on in the season, I think it was actually late last season. I can't remember exactly, but this character, I forgot his name, but he was basically telling her, "Hey, you know, I have like this boat area. You know, like I live overseas as far as what this area is from."
It keeps getting worse.
But he's like, "Yeah, come over here. We got weapons. We got all this stuff. But I need to get back to my family, so I'll do whatever you can. I'll give you all the items that we have, so you can come with us." So it's like, okay, well, here's this other storyline, and then they just didn't show her or him for fucking like 6, 7, almost 8 episodes. So we almost forgot what's going on. But there's more story being told outside the show because you read Screen Rant or comicbook.com or whatever, and she's going to leave soon. So now we're expecting her to die or whatever the fuck. You get to this episode, and he turns out to be a villain, and he's, you know, getting her drugs, which, by the way, how do you get drugs in the apocalypse? Like, you know, that's kind of strange.
It depends on the drug.
Well, she's having, like, hardcore hallucinations, which, to make drugs in a place where you had no food or water or anything, it's kind of like, that's a waste of resources.
I mean, mushrooms you can just throw into a closet and wait like weeks and you'll get hallucinogenic. Like, I think God's is in the chat, but like, it really depends. Like, unless like she's not making fucking LSD. Like, if it's anything short of just planning it and just waiting, it's depending on the drug, it's probably not that difficult.
Well, the thing that frustrated me the most about this is that what they did is they used this to basically retell her story because I guess they weren't happy with the story that we've had since season 3, and it shows that she wasn't able to help Andrea. Andrea died. So we get to see that happen in season 3. Then we get to see Michonne literally join Negan, and we get to have more Neganisms like, "Oh shit, you got big old balls. Oh man, I love you so much." And then she kills Glenn, and then Rick and Dale kill her. So it's like everything they show in the trailer is kind of alluding to like, okay, well, Michonne's gonna die, blah blah blah. That was a lie. That was a dream because she was on drugs. So now you're pissing off the audience because you're saying that something's gonna happen.
Oh no, they did a dream. Oh fuck, I hate that.
Yeah.
But it was just a dream. They always do those dream sequences so they can kill the character on screen without any consequences.
Yeah, exactly. Because like when we're seeing it, we're like, "Oh my god, that's crazy! Like she's gonna have the Negan bat soon." Blah blah blah. No, that never happens. And that was one of the things they actually end off the Comic-Con trailer on, that she has Negan's bat, and it's purposeless. It never actually happened. Same thing with another situation. Like a few episodes ago, Eugene and Rosita kiss. They didn't actually kiss. They got really, really close to kiss, and then he didn't. And it's like, you can't do that. That's something I got mad about the Endgame trailer where it shows Hulk coming out. Or no, it wasn't Endgame, it was Infinity War. When they show Hulk about to fight Thanos in the woods, that never happens. He's in the Hulkbuster. You know what I mean? Like, you can't lie in your trailers, dog. Like, I understand, like, showing a piece and make people assume something. But when you show shit that's just not in there, like, you're a fucking asshole. You know, so they did that with this. And it's frustrating, but then to go back to what I was saying in the start of this whole review is the fact that, you know, they have a goal in place. Rick is making movies. Rick is somewhere. Rick is alive. We already know this. And they need to make it where Michonne's going to go find him. So they end this episode off where she finds Rick's drawing of, you know, the kid and Michonne. And she's like, I gotta go find Rick. And that's her exit.
Hasn't it been like 10 years?
Yeah. Yeah, but yes, somehow, just by chance, she finds Rick's drawings that are not aged. They're not ripped. They're not, you know, they didn't, like, vaporize, you know,
but even with that, it's like it's been 10 years, so he hasn't even bothered to try to find them, and this zombie apocalypse has been going for 10 years, man. The fuck?
Yeah, it's really, really bad.
You should have just killed Rick and done a prequel or some stupid shit.
That's what I was thinking. Or if not that, like, just why does Michonne have to go find him? So apparently, I guess because Michonne...
She loves him.
Denai Guerrilla, I guess she's such a high-paid actress, you know, with the Marvel and all the other shit going on. I think what's happening is that she's like, dude, I'm not going to stand here in the fucking highest sun in Atlanta and do this shitty little Walking Dead show that no one likes anymore. I'm going to go make the big bucks and be in the movies. So this is alluding to this fucking movie, the main goal to go find Rick again.
Oh man, for all the Star Trek fan, instead of the search for Spock, it's the search for Rick.
Yep. No, exactly. And I gotta tell you, the fact that this movie's coming out is now fucking these shows up. Because we've been, you know, pushing this particular storyline, lots of other characters, like, within the 4-year gap that happened last season versus now, there's lots of things that were discussed, but, like, they're not actually happening on screen. So that's kind of frustrating. And I just feel like, yeah, dude, you know, because you have a goal, you just fucked up all your current storylines because you're, you know, thinking about something that's, honestly, I don't know if this movie's going to come out now, the coronavirus. Like, yeah, I mean, it can't come out now competing against, like, well, I mean, look at Black Widow.
It's probably still not coming out, like, this year at all. Probably a situation where it's supposed to come out next year. It's definitely going to get pushed, but, like, I don't know. Like,
there's so much shit coming out. Like, dude, do you think if Marvel came out with a movie, like, let's say Black Widow comes out 3 months later than was supposed to, right? Do you think that all the other movies that had to come out afterwards, Walking Dead's gonna be able to compete with? Fuck no.
Yeah, it depends on when they release it. Like, The Walking Dead, it's like, it depends on how much money they're gonna put into it. Depends on how much, like, the whole point of a movie is to get audiences that would normally not watch your show. So it's like that's why you do these kind of movies. It's like you have to do it at the height, or you do it when the show's not doing as well as you want it to do. So like, hey, let's get this character. Let's do The Walking Dead, the movie, and I mean, it worked out for Breaking Bad. Yeah, they weren't doing another season of Breaking Bad, but when El Camino came out, that was like one of the highest viewed Netflix movies, and everyone loved it. So it's like if you have an idea that works, you can definitely get like some life back in your show by having a good movie.
Yeah, and the big thing I want to bring up here too is like this episode was supposed to be the continuation of, you know, episode 12, obviously, and it would have been really cool to get a continuation of this big ass storyline happening here. Negan kills our main villain. Alpha's been the main villain for 2 fucking seasons, and he straight up just kills her. It's over. He even cuts her head off. So it's like nothing's happening with that character anymore. And we've been building that character for fucking 2 years now, y'all. No continuation of that. Apparently, the next storyline is, you know, him and Carol arguing, and there's no like, yeah,
oh my god,
like continuity wise, like just in any storyline. For one, I appreciate that this show can just kill off main characters, not on a finale. That's what I love about Walking Dead. Is that it's very unpredictable sometimes. But that's also happening to a fault. Because I would be mad if this was a movie and our main character dies in the middle and our climax of the movie is, hey, that's not your end of the deal. You didn't put up your end of the deal. Like, I'd be really mad if we end off on an argument and not a death. That's just bad writing. You know what I mean? That's just, I don't know. It's like, it reminds me of like how Endgame, where like, you know, Iron Man dies and then we still got 20 minutes of like meandering and funerals and people saying emotional shit.
Oh, let it go.
But you know what I mean? Like, it just reminds me of just
no, because like you ended a fucking decade-long saga. You're gonna have not just cut the credits as he says I'm Iron Man. You gotta fucking have some revenants. You gotta have the funeral. You gotta have where the characters are gonna move on. Like, fucking let it go, man.
I guess, but like, I mean, that's the thing that's like coming to my mind. But like, I'm trying to think of like other movies that have that issue, and most movies don't. Even the bad ones. Most movies know when to end. Like, okay, Booksmart, that's another one. Booksmart, you know, like we were crying, or I mean, I feel like if I was into it, I'd be crying, right, when you know, Jonah Hill's sister is about to leave and blah blah, or vice versa.
Sure.
And then like they get back in the car, I'm like, oh yay, happy ending. That's where the credits come up. But then there's more shit. Then there's more jokes. Then there's a lesbian scene. There's another one. Then there's another one. It's like, dude.
No, the movie generally ends pretty quickly after that. They go to breakfast and stuff like that.
I mean, okay, we'll agree, disagree. But yeah, man, it's just, I feel like this show, and it is episodic. If episodes don't know when to end, then that's where people get mad. That's where people don't like the show. For me, yeah, like I like the whole Negan killing Alpha thing. I think that episode 12 is a 5 out of 5 episode, one of the best episodes I've ever seen in Walking Dead. But this Michonne thing and this Walking Dead movie thing is fucking things up. This is what I meant by sometimes don't have a goal. Just fucking make new goals every season, so I'm not predicting what's going to happen. Because now with this movie coming out, I know where we're going to go. And we're going to go someplace shitty. You know what I mean? Like, don't follow the comic book. It makes it stupid, too. Like, you know, I just wish that DC stuff, Marvel stuff, and including this.
That entire argument, don't have a goal, is the reason we're dealing with this problem. Like, you have to have some sort of goal for a show there to so that you don't have to deal with the problem of what do we do next? Well, kill a character or do this or do that, making shit up as you go along. That never fucking works out. You have to have some sort of season-wide goal you're getting to, but trying to kill villain isn't necessary. Even in fucking Flash, who started essentially doing season-wide arcs. There's usually some sort of development or some sort of new tech they want to do or some sort of other problem that's happening that the villain's either causing. So when they solve the problem, they solve other problems. The Walking Dead, it's just what villain is going to fuck up our sanctuary this time around? Okay, we dealt with it. What's going to happen next? Another villain. It's like, oh my god, we get it. Like The Walking Dead should should have a season where they don't have a villain and maybe try to do something else or try to like work together with another tribe or try to build a city, try to build a society or some shit like that. At this point, I don't ever want to go back to the fucking show again because I'm done.
Let me ask you this really quick though. Sorry, I had to burp. Game of Thrones, that ending. Do you feel like the goal fucked up whatever the finale was? Because I feel
I think their shitty writing fucked up their finale.
Do you think they always had that ending in place, or do you think things were changing?
I think that they always had the way where the characters ended up the last couple of episodes. George R. R. Martin was like, yeah, this is where I want the characters to set up. The problem wasn't with the goal. The problem was the writers behind it were so bad at their jobs that getting from the points from point A to D, the in between B and C, were so just half-assed that it's just like, what the fuck? Like, did we always know Daenerys Targaryen was going to go crazy and destroy the city of the dragon? Probably. That was always kind of hinted at from even the first episode. But the way she does it is so laughably stupid that it's like, what dumbass fucking wrote this? I mean, Bran Stark being king? I think Bran Stark is one of the worst characters I've ever seen in television history, and I hope he fucking dies in the show. Him being king is fucking stupid, not because the idea of Bran Stark being king is dumb, it's because they had no buildup. It's because there's no reason. It almost feels like they just pointed at him saying, you want to be king? Yeah. Okay, he's king. That was the entire process.
Yeah. And I haven't watched the show, but I feel like, you're like, there's no buildup. If there was buildup and people weren't liking the fact that, like, oh, I kind of have an idea where this is going, on top of being unpredictable, or on top of being predictable, which is usually a bad thing, people will probably end up just not watching that last season because like, oh, okay, I know what's going to happen. And by the way, I think that shit's stupid. And I think that they had to keep things so unpredictable because, I mean, dude, I remember the way you were reacting. You're like, oh, that episode sucks, but I'm going to watch this right away. I can't have it be spoiled. Don't tell me what's going to happen. I need to watch this.
Because maybe it'll get better. But like knowing how something could inevitably end doesn't mean you don't watch it. It's the journey to get there. The problem is the journey sucked.
Okay. And I mean, yeah, I don't like Game of Thrones, so I guess I'm not going to argue with you there. But it's just like, yeah, dude. I just wish that things wouldn't have so many, like, just really stuck in place goals. We disagree with that, obviously, but yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much about it as far as I gotta say about The Walking Dead. I might not talk about this again until the finale, and hopefully finale does, they kind of live on their own momentum and not base anything off of the movie or what they're planning to do in other shows or whatever the fuck, because it's oversaturation. And honestly, it's like I heard that apparently the coronavirus has stopped them from like making the next season right now. That they got stopped.
No, probably.
Yeah, so you know that once this comes back in the season, they're going to be rushing. And this is a show that does not need rushing because they already rush. And now it's going to get really shitty. And I'm not looking forward to the future of The Walking Dead. I'm kind of scared of this shit. So, yeah, man. With that said, though, I think we talked about so many fucking things tonight. I know we were originally going to talk about like NASA and all this crazy shit with the fucking asteroids hanging for...
Let's do that for another day.
I'm going to ask you really quick, though. Do you feel like this is going to happen? Because they're saying it's going to happen sometime tomorrow or some shit.
They've been saying for years, every couple of years now, that comes out, hey, there's an asteroid on its way. The way I see it is if an asteroid's on our way, we're fucked no matter what. We don't have the technology. We don't have the time. We don't have the know-how to actually stop an asteroid because we've never done it. So if it's on our way to hit us, fuck it. Just don't even bother packing your bags. Just fucking live your life. Who gives a shit? The world's going to be over anyway. Depending on the size, will either be a situation where the continent of the United States is just gone, or there's nuclear winter, or mass flooding. Either way, the world's over as we know it, so just fucking enjoy your life.
Roxy, are you scared at all for this? Because I know that with you bringing this up to me, I was actually surprised. I thought Alan would be the one that bring this up. But yeah, like, what are you feeling, Roxy?
In regards to the
asteroids killing us.
Asteroids. I don't know, my mind just went coronavirus.
Yeah,
but
just
in
like
regards to the asteroids, like, hey man, I can't do shit about it. If it hits us, it hits us. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do?
What was your reaction when you first read this though? Like, were you kind of like, oh yeah, like this is not gonna happen, or were you just like, oh god, oh no?
Disappointed but not surprised.
Damn, that's how we all are at this point. We're just kind of like, when people are losing jobs and more coronavirus stuff happens and blah blah blah, we're just like, shit, that's another thing added to my plate. Fuck.
I'm just like, okay, like, like, what else is coming? What is April gonna bring us? We got asteroids, we got the coronavirus, we got
Godzilla.
fucking, if you try to have a house party in Illinois, they'll like call the cops on you.
Yeah.
Like, what's next at this point?
At this point, no one knows because no one's. I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen next. Earthquakes all over the place. The moon's gonna collide into us. It'll just be the fucking face from Majora's Mask moon. We have 3 days before it crashes into us.
Do you think people are gonna take people like you more seriously, Alan? Like scientists, biologists, people like that? No, like legit. Because I feel like sometimes.
Are they gonna take you more seriously?
Well, no, because I'm
Yeah,
gonna be
hope
honest.
so.
Not to talk shit to you or anything, but like I don't take y'all kinds of people seriously because I feel like you're just a
Oh, my
mathematical
kind of
version.
people.
Well, no, because I think you guys are like mathematical versions of religion. It's like, especially, I mean, I'll bring up that Neil deGrasse Tyson thing again, but he's like, the Earth, or what do you say? He said, nature or science does not owe you the responsibility of making sense to you.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it's a lot of different sides say it. My physics teacher says God doesn't care if you understand it.
No, exactly. That's my point. And I'm like, that's equivalent to saying God works in mysterious ways, aka I don't fucking know. That's what it is.
It's more along the lines of the hubris of scientists, and that's something I've even said on the Illuminati. Of a lot of the reasons people don't not necessarily trust scientists anymore, but don't care, is a lot of it is our fault. Is we just stopped, like, the job of scientists is to teach people that don't know science. That's always been our job, is to get the knowledge that we've spent decades learning and try to make it so that the average person understands. That's one of our more important jobs. The issue is we've forgotten it and we've stopped caring. Because we used to be rock stars. People used to go to, the 40s and the 50s. People would go to bars to listen to scientists on the radio. Einstein would always go to bars and talk to people because people love the science. Now we got to a point where it's like we don't do that anymore because I guess people, not necessarily people just care about other stuff. It's just we don't do it as much as we used to anymore. But if you see, there's all sorts of science podcasts all over the fucking place because people still find this stuff interesting, but you need to have the scientists willing to do it. Neil deGrasse Tyson, I respect. He has done a lot of stuff with his allegations, and I won't sit there and say I forgive him or think he didn't do it. I'm not going to go there. But as far as his record, I respect his record because he is one of the few people still trying to make science interesting and exciting. Nobody does that anymore because nobody wants to do that anymore. They think science is this elite fucking like group of people that you have to spend 2 decades in order to understand. It's like, no, I'm a scientist. I'm a fucking dumbass. I just spent the last hour and a half jacking off the Dark Knight. And I have 2 fucking degrees. Like, I'm a moron. But I love science.
My thing is like, oh, my bad.
No, go ahead. I'm done.
My thing is I find science interesting. I love just understanding how the world works around me. But it's problematic because at the point, I'm not saying all, but how many scientists are being bought off or there's so many limitations put in place by their local government that they can't find shit out anymore,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's just disappointing. Like, okay, I see this article saying one thing, I see this article saying another. This one makes sense, but this one's like, typically if it has like big bank or big pharma or Trump behind it, it's obviously fucking fake. For us, at least. For a lot of people, that's just facts for them. So it's getting more difficult on who to believe, where to go, who we turn to, who to trust.
And that's the one of the issues that actually really bothers me about websites. I'll be like, oh, dark chocolate makes you, helps with pregnancy. And then you actually read the article and there's zero correlation. It just doesn't hurt. And that's one of the issues. I see that all the time. One of the ones that almost got me was being vegan makes you sad and unhealthy. I found that fucking hilarious.
That's a hilarious headline.
It is. Wrong. Have you ever met a happy vegan?
That's why I laughed and I was like about to walk away. They're like, wait a second. Party was like, that's a clickbait article. So I went and I read the article and they're like, yeah, there's no correlation. People that are, all the vegans we tested were always unhealthy and they didn't like their lives and whatever the hell. I'm like, okay. Let me read the actual article. So the actual article even had that. I'm like, okay, every vegan we tested, they were more susceptible to diseases. They're more susceptible to depression. So I'm like, okay, well, why? And usually in a scientific article, even if they don't have the answer, they give you an idea of like, well, this is what we think based on the results. And one of the results, the most important part that just defunks that entire article is we have no idea yet if people went to veganism because they were depressed or because they were diseased or the veganism caused it. That's a very important distinction.
Yeah,
because
you're right,
if being
'cause, like,
vegan made you sad, then fuck vegans. But if you were sad and depressed and your doctor said, well, try healthier food and you went to veganism, that's a completely different situation.
Yeah, so the article is basically saying this one particular thing that they're like, yeah, people are probably vegans to help depression, but they're already depressed beforehand. So
Yeah.
you just said literally opposite what being a vegan is recommended to be for. Like,
You know?
Yeah, it's
and
fucking crazy.
that leads to Roxy's thing of like, I don't necessarily think like all scientists are being bought off. There are always going to be people paid by pharma to say their points. But like when you're doing an article, especially when you're doing human testing, you can't really fake those results because then you get the autism situation where the guy just made the shit up and people believe it because they like believing in negative things more than positive things. But you can have the media. You don't need to pay off the scientists. You just need to pay off the media outlets to spin the story.
Yeah. So yeah, it's fucking crazy, and we'll probably talk about this more again tomorrow. I just want to like be able to do a little bit of research on just like what these asteroids are. I want to tell a particular story I told these guys before we even started about this kind of shit. But like, yeah, there's a lot of things I want to bring up because I think it's important. I think that like, yeah, man, like everyone's worried about this fucking the cooties disease, and it's like, dude, that was an asteroid coming. Like, you know, you got face masks on and you're trying to get toilet paper. Like, it ain't no ass wipe if it's on fire, fucking dummies. So yeah, I just wish that people were probably talking about this more, and we could kind of.
I mean, in their defense, Nick, what do you want them to do?
Not freak the fuck out, sit the fuck down, and think shit out for a fucking second.
Yeah,
and that'll help with the
everything.
current situation with the virus, but like with the asteroid, fuck it.
With the asteroid, there's nothing we can fucking do. We're not like let's be honest, how many people in this fucking audience are actual like scientists who have the fucking brain power and the funds to stop the asteroid and just fucking
Eyes on Alan.
Dude, I could have stopped an asteroid. Like what?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, and I see your point, Rox, but it's like, I feel like because like this is gonna happen, or they saying it's gonna happen this weekend. It's like, why don't we evacuate places? Holy shit.
So okay, it's happening this weekend. Let's say it hits on the western coast. The initial landing of the asteroid would wipe out the 3 states in its vicinity, just the landing alone. The actual resulting impact as a result of the dispersion of the wave of energy would probably wipe out the entire western coast of North America. So where do you want to evacuate a third of the continent?
The fuck away from there.
Right?
Like,
I mean, honestly, there's nowhere to... And plus, we just told everyone stay in their houses, no mass gas.
Well, true, but it's like... I see your...
If this is how I die, this is how I die.
Exactly.
I mean, like, let's spend some money on some planes, dog.
But,
Like,
like, we talked about this before the show recording. That Deep Impact and Armageddon are terrible. They would never fucking work because we don't have the ordnance and we don't have the time and we don't have to know how to do it because we've never done it. However, Armageddon is a much more realistic approach because if they actually say in the movie, if we break it apart, it'll essentially pass by our planet. That's probably what's going to happen with the asteroid. Implying it didn't just hit right now and this is the last broadcast ever made. But they will what's it called? Yeah, with the Armageddon situation, yeah, it'll break apart and pass by our atmosphere. That would probably be the best case scenario. A lot of times with these things is they have a trajectory and they're afraid it's going to hit Earth, but most of the time it doesn't.
Okay, well, thank you for putting a little bit of hope into me, but my life has really been shitty, y'all. And this has been a really fucked up year. So I'm just kind of like, because I've seen these stories too. I see how they're always trying to scare people. If it's ever going to hit and burn me up, it would be fucking this weekend. Like, things are not going good. So it's like...
You'll turn into carnitas. You'll go in the most delicious way possible.
Delicious way possible? What does that mean?
Yeah.
Just because you're in a carnita. You know, you just open it up and you just hear
Do you even know
voice.
what carnitas are?
No, I have no idea. How do you spell it?
Google it. Carnitas.
Okay, let me see. I'll look it up right now. Damn, this looks disgusting. I'm gonna be honest, dog.
It's not disgusting.
Look at that. That looks like fucking
That's
cat food.
pork.
Oh, I was about to say, that looks kind of
That's
cool.
how
I
you'll
could've
go
said it.
out,
I
yes.
can't have that.
That's how you're gonna go out.
God, look at me. Just,
I mean,
I'm
I can't.
garnished so fucking good, bro.
Just add some like burnt hair in there.
Anyways, as you guys can hear the music, we're ending off on carnitas. Okay, so if you guys can, donate some carnitas to us in the form of bits or subscriptions.
Stop being racist.
Sure.
I'll take an elote.
Exactly. Yeah, pinotes. Or is that penis?
Elote, dumb shit.
Sorry. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching us. All that stuff. I'm gonna raid. I guess I'll raid up with this. But anyways, thank you all for hanging out with us. You can find Alan doing his thing for the Metropolis Collective. You can find Roxanne Flores on the Facebook. Search the famous Jet Jackson. She's weird, by the way. Just want to put that out there.
She's great. I don't know
Thank
what
you.
you're talking about.
She's extremely
Thank you. I'm glad you can finally admit that Jet's weird.
I've been admitting that for so long.
Yeah, now you did on the show.
She just burped.
How many people on this show are fucking weird? Like, let's be
Yeah, but
honest.
Jet's extra weird.
Pretty much all of them.
No, she's wonderful.
Goodbye.
I never
y'all.
said she wasn't. She's my dearest friend, but she's weird as fuck.